Hello! I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm so late. Oh my gosh. Hello everyone! I'm just a terrible person. Don't worry about it. Great phone. But yeah, sorry, my tummy was really bad shortly before the stream, so a lot of my stream prep time that I normally have, yeah, I didn't have. And then I was rushing around because I also needed a feed for cats, and then YouTube was being a butt. Oh, what's this? Come on. Why is that showing up in out? There we go. Okay. Okay, so TITS was being a bit weird.
How's my favorite girl?
There we go. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment. Just think. Things are being weird. Things are being weird. Hi, John. Hi, Native Engine. Hi, Talan. Oh, I hope you're all doing well. Oh, gosh. Right. Yeah, my tummy is just a little upsetty spaghetti right now. So, oh gosh. If I sound like I'm in pain, it's because I am. I'm in incredible amounts of pain. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And it doesn't help that YouTube and Microsoft are such big meanies right now. Just making everything way too hard. I did get some painting done off stream last night. I made some progress. Maybe it was on the wrong model to make progress with. But yeah. See, look. It's gold! It's gold! Look at all the gold on it! I need to actually go back into here on the edges there where it's still white. Oh gosh, and then I can I think I'm gonna have to go over with blue again at some point, but we're gonna do gold now, as you can imagine. We're finally onto gold, then we got the green to do, and then it's just going back over with blue and bone colour. I did a bit here, but as you can see, this is when I stopped because I was like, oh yeah, I am tired now and it's getting late, and my hand-eye coordination is dying. Yeah, I don't have my necklace on. Why don't I have my necklace on? Oh, because I took it off because I thought I was going to film it. That's why. I feel naked without my necklace. I feel naked without it. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. I feel weird. There we go. I'm back. I got my choker. I got a choker. Colour, colour, colour. There we go. Yeah. No. I did the red yesterday. I finished doing the red yesterday. You even talked to me yesterday asking, hey, what you're painting, and it's like, I'm painting gold. You even asked me, am I painting gold? I'm like, yeah, I'm painting gold. I didn't get it all done because it takes forever, and I'm not a very well person. Yeah, I did the gold on this guy off stream. You were on the stream yesterday. You saw me painting red on these guys. So mean. Not paying attention. Oh. Missed 2 brain cells competing for third place. Wait, miss brain cells? Are you calling me stupid? Or did you mean your 2 brain cells? You told me in DMs you were doing gold. Yeah, but that was just some of it. You know, it takes a while painting every single model. I did one model in gold. I still need to finish doing it in gold because it turns out I didn't do it very well. But yeah, there's just one model I did in gold. The rest of them still need gold on. As I said, I'm trying to not do too much of these guys off stream. Unless you want me to do them off stream. But then it's like, what's the point then? In part, I just wanted to see how it would look having gold, white, yeah, not white. Gold, bone, red, and blue together. My gosh, this is a messy model still. Oh, it's such a mess. But don't worry about it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. I got the Techless blue. I got the Techless blue to fix it. But it's fine. But we got other stuff. We got other stuff to do first. We got other stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. You asked me what I was doing and I said I just started for gold. Ready for tomorrow's stream. Today is
going to be a busy day for me. Medical stuff and groceries.
No, not medical stuff and groceries. But also, what we got on the website? I hope it goes well for your native engine. So, there's not actually much new on the website. We've got a rumour engine, which turns out that's probably Sephiron. People are like, maybe Exodites. Maybe Exodites, but no, if it's like a Feather or something. If we look at first, Sephiron over here. Age of Sigma, Order, Seraphon, that's it, Seraphon. Then look at these guys. Yeah, it's these kind of tails here. Who else? This one. Yeah, look, that. This. Yeah. Hungry man thinks of bread. We're sending Cuptle to the Red Cross. Why are we sending Cuptle to the Red Cross? Also, apparently they're doing some looted wagons. Oh, they're making looted wagons. Oh, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get a couple of rhinos or something. I want a rhino. I don't know what I'm going to do for the other one. To make my orc trucks instead of, you know, just making them normally. Also, there's some stuff about Age of Sigmar here. I don't really know Age of Sigmar too well, so don't know if these things are good or bad or whatever. I feel like I already have a rhino. I don't actually have any rhinos. But if I'm going to get a rhino, I'm probably going to go for the Horus Heresy rhino. Which is the same size. It's got a different design. I've never had one of the Horus Heresy rhinos before. Where is it? This one. Yeah. Looks pretty cool. And I'll turn this into an Orc rhino. An Orc truck, sorry. We sure talk a lot about rhinos on this channel to not have at least... Why are you just being so mean today? I've rarely ever mentioned rhinos before the channel. Why are you... You just decided today you're gonna fight me. Yeah, I need to get a rhino at this point. When have we even talked? We talk. No, we don't. You're making stuff up. Stop gaslighting. Hi, Ryobai Senpai. Like every stream I've been here to catch you mention rhinos. That's not true. You're trying to gaslight me. No, I'm not well today, and you're being. You know, I've decided. It's meant to be a painting stream. No, you don't get the Mechanicus. No Mechanicus today. We're going to build something. I've got a Gaunt Summoner here. It's the best. It's, you know, the best Sentient model you can get. The best for Warhammer 40k Sorcerer is actually just an Age of Sigmar Sorcerer. How do I open this? How do I open knife? Knife! Knife, knife, knife to meet you. Knife, knife, knife. Ah. Oh. Face. Today I'm getting pizza too. Oh, I had pizza and I regret getting it because my tummy was really bad afterwards. So I'm like, maybe last time I just got lucky. And this time I was unlucky. I don't even think I want to convert this at all to turn it into a 40k model because, I mean, how would I need to convert this to turn it into a 40k model? Like, I just want a sorcerer. No, it's a short and sweet stop for me. Gotta go. Okay, thanks for popping in. Right, you going to hospital? Oh, okay. Thanks for popping in. I hope your hospital visit goes well and your family's okay. Oh. Hope you all have a good stream. Yeet. It currently has little HP compared to what it used to have, and other options are better. I've legit no idea what a Rhino was before, and now I know from your streams that it's based on a British tank. No, it's not based on a British tank. It's based on a Gavin 113. It's an American tank. And it's not a tank. It's an APC, Armored Personnel Carrier. It is highly modular, and for our nations, is it for... Wait, who is it that like really loves converting it into other stuff? Which nation? Was it the Philippines actually? I don't know. But like you can turn them into field hospitals. People put martyrs in from Splash Me. And there have been some that have been turned into IFVs, like putting an autocannon on it and stuff. It's not a very good tank, mind you. I say tank. Armored person. It's not a tank in any way, because all it is a tracked vehicle. It's barely got any armor. It's got enough to protect you from small arms fire, kind of. But not a lot beyond there. Yeah, family members admitted on Friday for some tests. Doc thinks they have high nanofate myeloma, but needed a test to confirm and given for condition failure. Friday, Doc felt best just to admit them. Oh, that makes sense. Also, I wasn't ever being mean. We legit talk about rhinos quite a lot. That was a common from for heart. No, we don't. We don't talk about rhinos nearly enough. We don't. You're telling me we talk about rhinos. I've not mentioned them like 60 times a second. No. Okay, now I've mentioned them too much. Anyone who brings them up, it's your fault now. Where did my knife go? Oh, there it is. Hope if a rhino by next time I'm able to swing by. I don't... Actually, I might do. Because I bought the Night Lord Combat Patrol. Because it was really cheap. Because it was really unpopular. Yeah, I bought that. And it's got a rhino in it. I'm like, yeah, I've got a rhino. I don't know what army I'm going to put it in, mind you. I'm going to wait for the points update before I decide. It's either got to go in for Cinchian army. The Night Lord one. Or the Undivided. Okay, the way this sprue connects to that part of the skirt is so annoying, like it's right on that curve. I can't get my clippers in properly over there. I'm gonna have to get a knife just to remove the sprue. And there's really big connection points too, so it's not easy to get rid of. That sucks, that's a terrible design. I wondered why it was an online only model, because it looks cool. Yeah, they designed it terribly in terms of sprue connections. go. Cough. Did we review for Night Lord? Yeah, we did. We did review it. It's in terms of savings, it's not too bad. Like, how much? 105. It's got a vinyl, which is like 40 something. 5 chosen, which is again like another 40, so that's like 80. It's got for Nemesis claws, which are like 47. That's like 122 plus the Night Lord. It's got over 155, and so the savings are quite good in it. Like, it's got good savings. The main issue with the Night Lord Combat Patrol is the Rhino's not bad actually. The Chaos does not have access to a lot of transports. And it's got a lot of relatively slow units that the Rhino is really useful for. On top of that, the Chaos Rhino has a Havoc launcher, which makes it better than, arguably better, more killy against infantry at least than the Space Marine Rhino. The Nemesis claws aren't too bad. You can either just use them as Night Lords, or you can use them, you can use them as Nemesis claws, which are okay. A lot worse in 11th edition now. Or I can use them as just Legionnaires, in which case they're also okay. They're fine. They're fine. Pico Models, my local hobby shop, had this exact model rotting on the shelf since I first walked in and nobody wants it. It's lagging again. It might be my fault because I was lagging at the start of the stream. I say that. It didn't look like my internet died. It just looked like my connection to YouTube just fell out. So yeah, for Night Lord, it's also got Chosen, which are a pretty good unit to have. You don't see them in the boxes as much. And it could also run. Oh yeah, for Nemesis Claws, it's also a really good box when you're making Night Lords. Enough bits to, if you're a bit, oh, what's the word? Not skittish. If you're a bit cheap with them, you can make them go across a lot of units to give the Night Lord a spectac over. But the main thing is it's got a Jump Pack Lord that can't join any of the units. The Jump Pack Lord is very Night Lordy, but by himself it kind of sucks, especially with the new Nemesis Claw box. Not Nemesis Claw, Murder Wing box having the Jump Pack Lord in. It means that there's no shortage of getting hold of a Jump Pack Lord, so it kind of sucks. Chosen are great though, everything else in it is kind of good. If you don't want the Jump Pack Lord but you want everything else, it's still fine. So, yeah, it's not a bad box. If you want everything, it's pretty good savings. But the issue is, it's also very Night Lord themed. I mean, if you don't want the Night Lords, it's fine. You can just ignore the Night Lord upgrade spools, sell it on eBay, and you're still getting 10 Legionnaires. Because for Nemesis Claws, it's literally just a squad of Legionnaires with an upgrade spool. My 5 chosen Chud Sons and their Mom Car for bots. Yeah, honestly, it's not the worst thing ever. The main issue is, though, people have way too much Legionnaires. Legionnaires are put into, like, every single combat patrol, every single box, Battle Force box, which is fine. It's just, people have just too many of them now. It's like, we don't need more of them. Even if you're just starting, generally, like, 2 squads of Legionnaires is more than enough for most armies. Like, my entire army has 3 Nemesis Claws, 2 Rubric Marines, 2 Plague Marines, 2 Noise Marines, 2 Legionnaire units. Is it 2 Legionnaire? Or is it just 1 Legion? No, it's just 1 Legionnaire unit. Yeah. You don't really need Legionnaires, to be honest, in your Night Lord. In your, what, too much. I mean, having 1 or 2 boxes is fine. My Night Lord box is heavily Night Lord themed for West has Fallen. Yeah. But the fact is like most people don't play Night Lord, so you have to take into account it's like, for instance, the Dark Angels box, it's one of the top recommended combat patrols for any Space Marine player to get. Like, it's not a bad box. It's not... And everything in the Dark Angels combat patrol box can be used by everyone else. And the same goes for you can buy the Nemesis Claw box. And if you don't like Night Lords, you don't have to build them as Night Lords. I say Nemesis Claw. If you buy the Night Lord Combat Patrol, you don't actually have to build them as Night Lords. It's fine. You're still saving plenty of money on it. So it's... but what else are you saying? This model, I think this model's pretty cool. I do think it's a bit pretty shone out of the water by the one on disc. Because we also have a one on disc. The one on disc is super cool. So I'm guessing this goes here. Ish. No, it must go for back. Yeah. So, I want a Wargrox faction. That would be funny. A Wargrox? What's a Wargrox? What army will this little chudling be part of? My Chaos Night Lord army. Specifically the Cinchian part of it. I really love the God Summoner designs. And the leader of the faction is an Exalted Sorcerer of Cinch, which is a Space Marine sorcerer. So for other sorcerers, I wanted to be less Space Marine themed. And I just love the design of these Gaunt Summoners. They're just so cool. I don't know what everyone else thinks of them, but I think they're cool. He has the Pharaoh headpiece, which you don't like. No, the God Summoner doesn't have a Pharaoh headpiece. The Rubik Marines have a Pharaoh headpiece. Does this go here? No. There we go. Less Space Marine theme. Looks at Sangars and the Careful. And Careful now. In the corner. Yeah. They don't have a Sangar character like the Exalted Sangar, do they? Oh no, they do. I just can't have the Exalted Sangar in my army because it's not a Thousand Suns army. So in the end, I'm just having to use the Crucible rules to make it until they release an official Sorcerer with Jump Pack again. There we go. Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's so cool. They do. It's a guy riding the disc. Yeah, they do, but unfortunately, it's a Thousand Suns only unit. I can't use him in my army because it's not Thousand Suns. It's just generic Space Chaos Space Marines. This guy is actually surprisingly tall. So he definitely fits in. He's not as wide, but he's not as armoured, but I'll just be like, hey, he's wearing If this is power armor, if you squint your eyes hard enough. It's an Inquisitor. Oh, an ex-Inquisitor. Oh, wait. Idea for this dude. Do you know Henrix from Rogue Trader? This is basically the same type of thing he does. Do you know a Psyker who was an interrogator for the Inquisition? Except he got captured by the Night Lords and tortured until he joined Chaos. Oh, and his mind broken and open to chaos. That would actually be pretty amazing. And now he's extremely corrupted. Yeah, I want this guy to feel different because I am the leader of the Sentian part of my army. He is... What's special about him? Yeah, he's a... If I get enough of normal Chaos Space Marine sorcery thing, it will look just too similar to the character who was meant to be in charge. So... I decided I'll go for something else, something a bit different. 1,000 Sangor's next faction. Actually, it'll be amazing. I really hope that they bring this. They should get the Slangors and stuff, you know, for the Hedonites of Slaanesh and give them to Emperor's Children. They should release Kongors for both Chaos and for both Age of Sigmar and 40k. And we've got Pestigors. Although the Pestigors for Age of Sigmar do look just too fantasy-esque. They do need something to make them look more like 40k Pestigors. So I think if they're going to release new Pestigors, they'd have to make a special 40k version. Okay, yeah, the way that this connects to the sprue is kind of annoying. Like, how am I meant to get that piece? And all of the bits here are so thin and fiddly. The model is great, it's just trying to get it off the sprues the hard part, like here as well. I can just cut the sprue like that. And then I can... There we go. Oh yeah, there is an issue I had with this model. Its antenna at the back broke off. And I've tried attaching it, but it just keeps falling off. Gotta go for a bit. Oh, Wargrox is a grok spread for war instead of food. Grox is a brutal. Ooh. I missed that one. That sounds actually kind of funny. I imagine... Oh, that's what the Gene Stealer cult should get hold of. Yeah, the Gene Stealer cult's having like a Wargrox, like a grok that's been infected by the Gene Stealer curse would be amazing. Look at that. Yeah, if I can, I think I'll give him an auto pistol. I think that'll be pretty cool. Or last pistol. Instead of the flaming dagger thing here. Oh no, he's stabbing the boat with a dagger. Oh. Which works. But what I could do is I could always just cut the dagger out there. Have you ever considered taking cotton ball strands and sticking them to neck ones to make it look like they're infested with spiders? Not really. That sounds like it'd be very delicate and break. Also, I don't want my neck ones to look like that. Like a very specific theme there. Like, my neck ones can at least dust themselves. The issue with making spider webs is every single model I've seen with the spider web thing is basically a diorama that you can't touch because it breaks way too easily. Or it just becomes like very staticky and attracts more dust. Gene stealer neck ones. I mean, Twice on the Internet has probably stolen a lot of jeans. He probably has. The issue with Gene stealer neck ones would just be the... Actually. No, I guess it could work. Gene stealer neck ones. Oh wait, no, here we got. I found a bolt pistol. That would be better to give him. Although the rest of the arms in the way of a bolt pistol. You know what, we can just cut the back of a bolt pistol, that's fine. I don't think Gene Stealer neck ones could work too well, to be honest, because they don't neck ones don't exactly have genes of their own to steal and modify. Although I guess a neck one flayed one could work. Like somehow the flare virus infecting humans. Because that has been, of course, a concern in the past. Okay, idea. We put this off here. We put this hand here because it's way too big for him. Put the dagger off here. Put the dagger off here. And again, just very carefully. Ow, that's my nail. Oh no, the hand just fell off. I saw it fall to the floor. But the hand is extremely tiny. Is that it? That is it. That's me. Gundra making sure not to read any comments because she's mad that I called out for rhinos. Yeah. By the end of a game's lifespan, they need to add twice and random faction where you can play whatever you want as long as it's not and named currently alive. Technically, they already had that at one point. It was the old ally rules, where you could ally any army into your army. But for how well they'd work together, was like an entire table for it. So like various imperial factions would generally work pretty well together. But then you would get things like Sisters of Battle and Grey Knights that wouldn't work well together. In the Imperium and what's it called? Eldari were okay working together. And even for Necrons to some extent, to be honest. Meanwhile, things like the Tyranids worked well with nobody. So, technically, yeah, you're correct. They did have that before. And people enjoyed it. But they got rid of it for game balance. Mostly just so it's easier to balance. But yeah, you could literally just play Necrons, just put down Trison for Infinite, a couple of warrior squads, and then just bring in pretty much whatever else you wanted. There we go. Bolt pistol. Yeah. Now that's made him 40k-ish. Is he 40k enough now? And technically they had bolt pistols in fantasy, so maybe not. Yeah. Don't turn me into a banana. Look at this dude. He's a little gaunt. His favorite spell is gun. Oh, that's so silly looking. I love it. Hey, what's your favorite spell? Well, my favorite spell is... Did you just shoot that guy? Yeah. With my favorite spell. Like, that wasn't a spell, that was a gun. Well, it's called spell. They've even got it engraved on it. There we go. Both these bits into this spot. Okay, now I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to get back into it again. But yeah, this guy's surprisingly tall. I didn't actually expect him to be this big. Like, this guy's about a Space Marine size. And this guy's like well above that. Like, where's my guy that's on a tactical rock? He's wearing really high. I mean, he might... I'm back, Kai. But yeah, he could have the oh, what if they could do those stilt shoes you can have, where they're like spring loaded? He might just have them hidden under his robe. And he has to, like, the reason he's like flowing back like that is because every time he tries stepping forward, he keeps stepping on his own robe, and it's like, oh no, oh no. No, you got me with a high back. Now, no one can say if this was not at least a little bit kit bashed to work in 40k. Okay, but now what we actually came for you for painting. We're painting gold today. He's actually riding a hoverboard. Do you mean an actual hoverboard or one of those things that they call hoverboards, but really they're just the worst? They're just a worse version of a skateboard. I can't believe hoverboards became as popular as they were. And they weren't exactly popular, but still, it was way more popular than I expected. In fact, they deserve. No one of those things they call a hoverboard, but they're a worse thing. They're just a worse version of a skateboard. Yeah! That doesn't give you exactly a lot of height, though. Hi, Mama. How you doing? I don't know if a Gaunt Summon is actually meant to be demonic or not. I don't think they are. I think they're just meant to be like a sorcerer who's just mutated by the war and magic. On heels, obviously. So he's on not. So he's wearing heels, and he's also stood. No, he stood in one of those stilt shoe things, which are inside heels, which are on top of a hoverboard. That's not actually a hoverboard. But then that hoverboard is on an actual hoverboard. And he's got super long robes. What happened if Big E actually woke up? No one knows. It's likely to be bad for everybody. He might become another god. It's hard to know. So there we go. We got a bunch of gold now. Put him to one side. I'll paint some gold on this food. I'm joking, we're not painting him. We've got a her. If Big A wakes up, look at the janitor who was there to clean the floor. Nobody will believe you. Falls back on the phone. Nah, that one's already happened. Actually, I do wonder who cleans the floor in the Golden Throne Room. Like, it must be the custodies of the Sisters of Silence, because no one else can really take it being in the throne room. Like, even Space Marines can't really handle it very well. There we go. For 1,000 psychers they feed. Do Big E have to clean the floor before they get vaporized? Maybe. Hi, Nick the Salamander. That would be the ultimate insult, wouldn't it? Which would make it not too surprising if they actually added that to Warhammer lore. Or maybe a super long broom they use to clean the floor from across the hallway. Or maybe they just have a Roomba. The one AI that's still allowed to be around, and it's a Roomba. Actually, I think even if it was a proper AI, it would also suffer the cyclic backlash of being around for Big E. Now, funny thing is that Big E is kind of awake. He has spoken to Gulliman. He did save Gulliman from dying to Morty's plague. So... he's also done a bunch of other weird things. You could argue he's still asleep while doing that, but still. He is, That Nurgling had hands. No, it wasn't Nurgling, it was Mortavian. Used a special anti-god killer plague designed to kill Primarchs. Adeptus Janitus. I mean, we got the Adeptus Custodes. Only Mortavian would be able to plague, and is especially made to kill Gulliman and not manage to kill him. Yeah, as soon as Gulliman got back up, Mortavian just legged it. It was like, oh my gosh, he got back up! No, run away! Yeah, Mortavian's kind of useless. Also, I've been watching a battle report where it had Mortavian and Typhus in the same battle. Against the Eldari. Mortavian just got absolutely shredded. Typhus, though, was just like, bring it on. I'm fighting Eldrad Ulfran for Greatest Eldari. I'm fighting for Frugan for Phoenix Lord for Fire Dragons. I'm fighting for Avatar of Cain all at once. Bring it. And then Mortavian was like, oh no, someone looked at me too hard. I'm gonna run away. No. No wonder Nurgle sent his Chud champion to sit on a bench. Yeah. Typhus is just fair, throwing hands with everybody and anything. Technically, Typhus is the champion. Well, the Mark II champion, at least. G-Man is GW's golden boy. I mean, someone has to be. He deserves it. You're back. Hi. You don't know what's hard about turn the computer off and back on? Well, a lot of people will just click restart. And restart doesn't always work. I've had sometimes I turn it off and on, but that doesn't work. You have to restart it. So I'm like trying to get my air conditioner turn off. There we go, it's off. Yeah. The Nurgle army was kind of a badly designed army, though. They had 60 poxwalkers, but they didn't go for the poxwalker detachment. And it's like, why not? The Adari one wasn't also amazingly designed. They used Rangers. That being said, the Rangers were pretty good. They were mostly just sitting in the back, doing objectives, no one able to target them. At the very least, it let me take a break from this very important paperwork. Yay! Assuming no sarcasm. This headbat's lasting for blooming effort. What the heck? Is it broken again? Okay, I'm probably gonna have to turn the headbat off manually. I don't know what it is about the headbat commands sometimes. But it specifically just wants to break. Commands off to be made. It's not fair, it's universal. There we go. What's that ungroup? It's only meant to last a minute. To be made, Mafia, to be made. Ah. Weird. There we go. Yeah, you're trying to make me go bald with these headpats. Oh, I know why. Maybe, actually. If we bring fish up, commands. Okay, never mind. Never mind, I don't understand it then. Up on boss, up on V2, up on worm, up on Chibi boss. Okay, never mind, I don't understand why. Wait. Hi, Punish Scarab! Optimus Prime looking duda. What do you mean, Optimus Prime looking duda? This doesn't look like Optimus Prime, it's more like a Spooderman. Spooderman. Do 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 do. Transformers AdMech is definitely an idea. But it's not meant to be Transformers AdMech. For blue, it's going to be like a watercolour. For red, it's just for the red of Mars. And then for gold, it's just because they're rich beyond the wildest measures. Okay, I just came up with an incredibly cool faction idea, or at least I think it's incredibly cool. If I say faction idea, do like a guardsman army, and they equip all of their soldiers with like gold leaf and stuff, because gold is just incredibly abundant material on their planet, so abundant that the cheapest way of like making any sort of equipment that doesn't have to be super well armored is just to use gold. And because gold is heavy, like everyone is super strong because they train with golden equipment. Knights make more sense for obvious reasons of the Optimus Prime Transformers theme. Yeah. This is more of an accident. Red and blue is just a very common colour combination, you know? Blue is of a homeworld, which is an ocean planet. And we're going to try making it look more like water. Eventually. It's going to take a while to get stuff on it. Hopefully the gold will stop making it look as Optimus-y. There's not a single organic part on this model. Technically, the mandibles are originally from an organic part. Are they going to be gold? Yeah, all of the metal parts of this model are being painted golden. Feels like it's a very in-your-face colour scheme, all in all, to be honest. Very bright and shocking colours that aren't necessarily super complementary. Did you know this character, or the character that this model comes from? Tulia Gould, Jude, Traffic Mon, a Chaos Space Marine Lord of the Iron Warriors. She ultimately lost the duel, but made a good account of herself. Yeah, Traffic Mon won. Tulia Gould lost. If you actually put the two of them against one another on the board game, though, Tulia Gould will generally win on average. Got my mecha butt kicked. I ain't posting that video. Honestly, in the end, it was Traffic Mon that was more like that. Julia Gould had to leave because she was injured, but ultimately Traffic Mon lost the battle. He was hoping to get a quick victory, but it ended up becoming a long and extensive campaign that was costing him pretty much his entire resources that he needed to take a much more important planet. But by stopping him on this planet, they effectively stopped his entire thing. His entire plan. Oh yeah. Oh darn it, there's a bunch of areas where it's meant to be blue there. And it's not. Yeah. I'm gonna paint for blue. Anyone painting or making anything right now? My character. What did I call her, Serena? Winning for battle but losing for war is the Iron Warrior way. No, they lost the battle and for war. But they won one fight inside the battle, that's about it. We went through the entire campaign, and it was just like... Yeah, they just got a butt stick pretty much every single turn. Not that okay. Okay, that's all meant to be red, but isn't white. Some areas here that's meant to be bone coloured, but isn't. There we go. I'm making a big sandwich. Ooh, what's on your side? Bacon! You're marinating chicken. Oh my gosh, marinating chicken. Oh, you're all making foods. I hope all your foods are tasty. Which is like normal tasty, but with extra tastiness. Oh my gosh, it's so warm today. It doesn't look like a warm day, but it doesn't even feel necessarily like it was meant to be a warm day. It's a bit overcast. Very still. I think that's the thing. It's just a very still day, so the heat's not going anywhere. Yeah, the Iron Warriors got beaten on this random planet where the Imperial Fist and Black Templars decided to come in. So they went past that planet and went onto a different planet where they won 2 other battles. But for one, Classic Mon was that, which she also came to and reinforced. He lost. So his entire attempt to cut off the Agrippina system completely failed. And the Infinite Citadel was stalled. So I muted to blow my nose. Yeah, Imperial Fist mugging on the Iron Warriors. Really nothing new. The Iron Warriors were absolutely screwed over. They were fighting against Ursula Creed, So a named character for Guardsman. And on top of that, the Imperial Fist with, was it Lysander who came in? And, or was it Tor Gideon? Might have been Tor. That's one of them anyway. And then you had the Black Templars who had a named character, but it was like no one super important, like no one has got a model. So it's like, yeah, they just had like 3 levels of being mogged on. Named Space Marines. There we go. So I'm just like wanting to make sure I don't go onto the camera when I'm using my magnifying glass. Okay, there we go. That's good. Water. Hi, Flash. Okay, we got gold. Oh, the school's gonna be school color. Gold. I need a bigger brush. I need multiple different brush sizes of this one. Oh gosh, my tummy is not very nice. I apologize. A little distracting. Okay, face brush. With gold. Let's get some of these things painted. Just this model is gonna be super shiny. Actually, this is the easiest thing to paint gold because it's got all these like detaily bits on them. Very hard to get the brush into it. Oh, new points updates for tomorrow for 40k. Oh, I'm anticipating it. Darkly anticipating it. Worried about my Black Templars. Everything else, even if it's a point rise, I can work my list around them. Unless they're like seriously dramatic point rises. Which I don't think they'll be. Yeah, that's looking nice-ish. We'll do all the bigger blocks of gold first, I think. Then we can go switch to a smaller brush and do the areas that are a bit harder to do with a bigger brush. Then we can go to an even smaller brush to do even the smaller areas. Because the issue is, if we do it all with a very, very small brush, I'll just be here forever. I'm hoping of a new edition. The points are also not just for the new edition, but take into account underperforming armies from 10th edition, like the Eldari. Because the Eldari, in theory, should be doing better in 11th edition with how important movement and speed is. And being able to hide, helping them a bit more of a terrible toughness and armor saves. But they're already not in a good position with being quite overcosted to begin with. So in theory, for going into 11th edition, they shouldn't really see much point changes, just to balance them out. Because if you decide to balance them based simply on the difference, then all you're going to do is just keep them bad. Similarly, Tyranids should see some point increases, but not too much. I mean, Tyranids are okay as they are at the moment. What I'm thinking is that their mobs of 20 Tyranids should effectively stay at the same points they are now. They shouldn't be made cheaper, even though being a squad of 20 is weaker now. But they shouldn't go up in price, because, you know, they already weren't that good to begin with. The main thing is using them to objective block and to movement block, which they're now much worse at with 11th edition thanks to unit coherency. But because of how much more powerful the Tyranid rules are, with being fast moving, good melee threats, and the entire thing of being able to force battle shots, that's going to be pretty powerful going into 11th. We do have some units that need to be made cheaper though, like the Von Ryan, anything with stealth basically. Except the Neurolictor, because that one's going to be way more powerful now. It can force battle shock tests, and for battle shock tests it. And it feeds them battle shock troops. There we go. Gosh, my elbow hurts so much. I need like a proper pad for my elbow on my desk. I need to check if they sell those types of things. Overall, where does Tau Law offer you? Do you find them compelling? Oh, okay. I don't really care too much about a lot of the Tau Law. I kind of would prefer if Tau were just straight up the good guys. Like, I think that is just so much more compelling to me. That you've got this faction that, like, for the Tau, to put them simply, they're good guys as far as 40k is concerned. They're bad guys. If you put the Tau into Halo, for example, they would be considered Covenant level threats. They are not squeamish about committing genocides against entire Xeno species if they think they're just not, if they don't think they can work with the greater good. In many ways, they're very similar to the Covenant, except with atheists instead of religious. I don't really like that. I would like if they were literally just more goody two-shoes. Like, imagine a Star Trek. If they were basic for Star Trek in space, you got this meritocracy system where everyone is just trying their best instead of the caste system. I think that would be a lot more compelling for me. And it would also be more different in 40k. How it stands at the moment, for the lore, for some of the lore is cool, but a lot of the lore for me just, it's not that compelling. Originally, they were meant to be more for good guys. They were more meant to be, you know, if you know The Simpsons, they were meant to be like the Frank Grimes, that which is to say, a faction that, you know, uses common sense in a galaxy or a setting that lacks common sense. And so they're meant to be relatively good guys, trying to... There wasn't too much evil going on, you know, questionable things. And I kind of like that idea. They do seem to be leaning a bit more into that idea now. I do find their arrogance quite amusing. And I do prefer to see their arrogance of their hubris, constantly seeing them get slapped to some extent. Like, everybody else suffers the same thing like that in 40k. It's the kind of thing of doom, it's like, why build a Titan when a Manta can just take it out? Except then it's like, your Manta can't take it out, its void field's just too strong. Or, you know, suddenly you try to take it out and your weapons just miraculously don't work anymore. And your systems are starting to fail, and you don't know why, and then it just aims at you, and it shouldn't be able to hit you, but it does. Because that's the kind of thing, miracles that Titans create by appearing on the battlefield. And it's that kind of thing that the Tau don't really take into account very well. They don't understand the psychic power that just naturally flows from humans and other creatures, and how that can manifest itself. And, like, you've got a planet filled with billions of people and millions of people fighting, tens of millions, and you start putting Titans down, those people are going to start thinking and wishing and believing in the God Emperor even more, and that's going to create miracles. They're going to think they can win, and it's going to start making them win. In the same way that the orcs kind of manifest reality by sheer belief, the humans do the exact same thing. And I wish we got to see that more with the Tau as well. And we do see it every so often. But my favourite part of the Tau is them being for underdogs, them still trying to figure out and understand this galaxy that they're in. Every time they think they've started to understand it, it just does something else that has them questioning everything again. Which is exactly what the humans see as well. Like, the humans have the power of belief, but it's not on the same level that the orcs are. The humans have psychers, which the Tau don't, but it's not on the same level that the Eldari are. The humans are naturally strong, quick-witted, and fast, and long-lived, compared to the average Tau, but nowhere near what like an Eldar and Orc is. So I always find it amusing whenever the humans are treated more like in a Tau story, where the humans are treated how the Eldar are treated in an Imperium story versus the Eldar. That being said, I've not really seen Tau appear in a lot of lore or stories. They get mentioned every so often, but they're often not fair for stories I've been reading and listening to. It's hard to know how the modern lore is about them. I think the Tau designs of models and stuff is pretty fun. Really love the model designs. I really love the playstyle as well. It's definitely got its own stuff going on compared to other factions. And in fact, the way they fight in lore is also pretty nice because they use more modern style tactics compared to a lot of the things we see in Warhammer. Especially the humans and orcs and Tyranids. And even the Necrons, to be honest. Oh, but I'm also of the opinion that every single faction needs to be punished for the hubris anyway. Like, the Necrons constantly think themselves the greatest and most intelligent and strongest species. It's just great whenever they get the comeuppance for it. Humans also think the same thing, and it's great when they get the comeuppance for it. The Eldari too. Heck, the only faction that really doesn't have the same level of hubris is the Orc. But even they get punished whenever, you got an Orc warboss that thinks a little bit too highly of himself and his tribe's capabilities. But yeah, I think one of the things that makes me struggle, like, truly supporting the Tau is the fact that they aren't fully good guys. Hi, Pac-Man. Like, if they are fully good guys, I would have a greater opinion of them. And I'd be more like, oh, the Tau have come. I hope they do well here. Whereas, whether these just group with a caste system, I often view humans and other creatures as lesser creatures. And barbaric and stuff. It makes it hard for me to go, yeah, I want these guys to win. Instead, I'm like, nah, I want these guys to be punished. But it's very hard to go... Like, when I've got the option of humans, pretty terrible, the Imperium, pretty terrible faction and whatever, but then it goes okay for Eldor, not for Eldori, but for Tau, racist, still... And sure, they still allow auxiliaries and stuff to exist, but it's like they allow them to exist. They're not equals. And the Tau themselves are run by a really weird caste system, which seems just to be taking advantage of the population. It's like... I mean, are they really better than humans? It's like maybe for a little bit, but when I've got the option to, you know, support the humans who are terrible, or the Tau who are also terrible but don't think they're terrible. It's like maybe they're not quite as terrible, but yeah. I think I'd rather support the humans. And it is nice when you do see individual Tau, you know, be good people. But the same thing can be said for human characters, like especially in Black Library and stuff. It's like often the human characters we follow, the Imperium might not be good people, but the human characters we follow often are. And the same is going for the Tau. The Tau Empire might not necessarily be good, but the Tau individuals very often are. They might believe a little bit too much in the propaganda and stuff, but... Do it have any kind of servitors? In a way. I mean, we got the drones, obviously. But they're not, you know, made from people. But you do have the fact that, you know, certain warriors and individuals that they think are incredibly capable and good, they just put them into a stasis where their mind is still active and they just force them to go through battle training after battle training after battle training, for potentially centuries at a time, only waking them up when they need to use them for something and then just putting them back to sleep again. It's like, that's pretty terrible. I mean, maybe it's not servitor level, but I mean, that's a kind of just dystopian horror that the Imperium is famed for, and the Tau just, you know, do that. The entire caste system also means that kind of, you know, a lot of the people are basically enslaved. You've also got another thing is that they, very questionable, is they often back up the minds of, you know, certain Tau onto computers and try making like data. Basically making AI versions of people who are dead, which is, considering how the entire soul and AI works in Warhammer, it can get very concerning. Like, again, none of this is at the same level as servitors. But I think these things point to the idea that as much as the Tau like to claim that, you know, the idea of servitors is terrifying and bad, They're not that much above it themselves. As soon as it comes down to what they view as a necessity or for the greater good, they're basically capable of doing any sort of evil for the greater good. Which is probably one of the reasons it's called the greater good. Because for a very long time we've had this idea and this philosophy that once you have a belief in something being is for the greater good, you're capable of doing any evil as long as you think the amount of good that's going to come out of it is more than the amount of evil you're doing. And that's how the Imperium works. That is exactly how the Imperium works. They do these things. They call it a necessity. They say they have to do these things. That's why they have servitors. They say, well, we need servitors. Without servitors, what are we going to do? Could we create robots? But we know what robots will do. Robots will see an AI uprising of the destruction of humanity once again. It's like, no. We need servitors. It's for the Emperor, for the greater good. And once you start doing that kind of thing, it's a very slippery slope. But I mean, that's the kind of thing. It's like multiple Tau have suggested that humans should all be exterminated. Because they don't believe that humans can work with their greater good. They've also said the same about orcs. It's very easy to say, well, you can't do diplomacy with orcs. And that's what the Tau believe, apparently. The Imperium does it. The Imperium does it constantly. They do a lot of diplomacy with the orcs. Humans have also worked quite well with orcs in the past. Like non-Imperium humans. The orcs are very much capable of diplomacy. They're capable of even living in union with them. Yet the Tau have decided that the orcs should be exterminated, which is exactly what the Imperium and the Emperor wanted to do. And you could argue, well, you have to. They're an evil race. They do all of this. And it's like, yeah, that, you know how that sounds. Once you start saying stuff like that, it gets very bad. So many factions lying to themselves in Warhammer, even Chaos. Rarely, it seems. Oh, Chaos always lies to itself. They're always saying, I'm using Chaos. They always think that they're trying to do it for the better of humanity. Or, you know, a lot of Chaos people, especially the Word Bearers, think that they are saving humanity. That the only way to save humanity is to work with Chaos. And as a result, they'll hurt people as much as they need to if they think they're going to save humanity. They'll sacrifice as much as they need to help humanity. And Warhammer, the Games Workshop, is very explicit in a lot of these things, in trying to make it very clear that the bad things that happen in Warhammer, especially that the Imperium is doing, what Chaos is doing, even what the Tau are doing, is not necessary. You don't have to do those things. It's just stuff that is happening, and people are making excuses. Orcs are not any more evil than any other race in 40k, and a lot of races are far worse. True. Now, for orcs, The main argument that people make about the arcs and why you can't really trust them, why they're evil and stuff like that. Where's my tissue gone? I had a tissue. Oh, there it is. In the same context, though, the arcs do seem very true to themselves. Even the arcs often lie to themselves. The arcs often tell themselves that they feel no fear. Arcs do feel fear. But yeah, the arcs are probably the truest to themselves in the galaxy. I mean, they are backstabbing gits too. The main thing about arcs is that they just want to fight. And they're willing to do anything to get more fighting, basically. As a generalization of the arc. Not always true, though. So as a result, you can very much argue that, yeah, you can't really coexist with the arcs very well. It's like, it's not impossible. Yeah, arcs used to have an issue of so in old 40k, and I say old 40k, you used to have a moral system that was when you failed a leadership test, your units start running away and they could get chased down and destroyed and stuff. Arcs did not have very good leadership, but they got a benefit from being in a horde. So the more arc boys there were, the greater the leadership was. But the more that they lost models in their unit, the worse it became. And that basically represented that arcs don't think they can feel fear. They're super psyched up. You imagine an arc going to war. You have to imagine it's imagine some teenage kid that just thinks of the strongest and greatest git in the world, and they're hyped up on adrenaline and their own greatness effectively. But they go into battle with all these other people who are also hyped up and filled with adrenaline for like, yeah, we're unstoppable, we're unbeatable. But then the bullets start flying, explosions start occurring, everyone around them is dying, they might themselves be injured. Suddenly, yeah, they start going, oh my gosh, I might die here. I don't want to die. I don't want to die like this. No! That's what arcs are like. And then once they start panicking like that, they will start fighting one another. Now, arguably, especially as we get into more modern era of the arcs, and arcs are changing in law as well. Yeah, football hooligans. But the main thing is they don't really fear death per se or injury. Like, they're not that scared of either of those things. It's just that but they're afraid of dying badly. But it's not like the same way Space Marine is afraid of dying badly, like failing to do their duty and honor and stuff like that. Arcs are afraid of effectively not getting a good fight, like going down without a chance. Like if an arc is running at the enemy and they're just being shredded by bolt gun and NAS gun fire and artillery and stuff, and they've got no chance of getting to the front lines and having a good scrap. Yeah, they're going to be afraid. They're going to be terrified. They're going to be willing to fight and hack apart one another to get out to the firing lines, get back to safety, and then find another way to get to the front lines where they won't get shot. Similarly, if the arcs are like running into an enemy that just absolutely outskills them in every way possible, like they're not going to have a chance to even hit the opponent. They can't see the opponent. They're just moving too fast. They're just too strong. Their opponent, if they do even manage to land a hit on the opponent is way too tough. They're not going to even do any damage to them. When they've got things like that, the arcs, again, they don't want to be that. They don't want to fight against something like that. They want to proper fight, and that's not fair. But the enemy's basically cheating at that point. That's what they're like, but it's It's the same sort of fear that a little kid has of, you know, losing a game without even getting to play it properly. It's very impetuous fear. And again, but on top of that, many orcs still fear of death. Oh no, feel a fear of death. It's not the most common feeling that the orcs have, and sometimes orcs will only feel it in the last minutes. Like they're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. I don't actually want to die. But by that point, it's too late. And many orcs will never, ever know that feeling, you know, without dying soon after. As a result, a lot of orcs think themselves immune to fear. Although, you know, I wasn't running away because I'm scared. I was running away because, you know, some other reason. Because I couldn't get a proper fight. That's it. That's it. With a lot of orcs and stuff, it's changed over the years. Different writers have also had different opinions. And as the Great War is getting greater and bigger, and orcs are getting bigger and stronger, orcs are starting to become more and more fearless. I think the orcs are the epitome, though, of it couldn't be me. Like, you'll have 10,000 orcs going into battle. 5,000 of them could die before they even hit the front lines, and every single one of them would be like, yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be fine charging into that. They only died because they're weak. But I'm strong. But no. The lore for orcs isn't very consistent. Like, if you read Hell's Reach, you get this idea from Grimaldus that the orcs are fearless, or at least to some extent. They do have fear, but it's not the same as the human fear. But then if you read something like Black Reach, then you've got orcs definitely feeling a fear that we would be able to recognize and understand a lot easier. If you read Grotznik, the main orc in the story, who's not actually Grotznik, he constantly talks about how orcs don't feel fear, yet multiple times within the story he seems to feel fear, effectively contradicting himself. But he seems completely unaware that he has contradicted himself multiple times throughout the story. What faction do you think is the most Darwinian in terms of, like, the stupid Darwin Award type thing? I guess for orcs. If you mean, like, the one that evolves the most, Tyranids and Kroot. Again, orcs are up there, but Tyranids and Kroot are probably the more that evolve the most. If you mean the ones that are already the best evolved, then the Eldari. Are Kroots a full faction? Not really. I mean, you can make a full Kroot army if you want to. If they ever release the Great Narlox again, then yes, the Kroot would basically just have a full sub-faction within the Tau Codex. Right now, though, the recruits suffer an issue of if you try playing a full recruit army, you basically have nothing to deal with tanks. Yeah, if you're thinking which one is the one that's basically already kind of perfect, then the Eldar. It's like they're faster than Space Marines, they're more intelligent generally, they're the most psychic race. They basically are immortal, even more so than Space Marines. And in terms of physical strength, Eldar generally are much stronger than humans. In fact, they're not that far with Space Marines in terms of strength. Only the strong survive type. Orcs. Either the most strong survives or the most cunning survives. I mean, I guess if you really, really want to go that way, and you like any faction that has their own codex is included, Space Marines and Custodes. I'd say specifically Space Marines though, because they are very much, you need to be super strong and super capable to be able to take the gene seed to begin with, and then to survive the process, and then you have to basically just constantly go through trials by fire to finally survive to become a Space Marine, and then you're just going to be going from one hellish battle zone to another hellish battle zone until eventually you die. I think the Eldar have grown on me for most of any faction. The armor design's really cool. I love the Eldari. I love the Drukhari too. Space Marines, Eldar, Tyranids. I don't know what else would be the strongest survive. But Darwin isn't very much the strongest survives. Darwin is very much the best suited survive. I think the Imperium in general, though, with the entire way, you might think at first if they're kind of Darwinian in a way, or feel very much the strongest survive because of them constantly forcing people to work and stuff. But I often think it's going to actually be the opposite way round. The strongest often don't survive. The strongest often get given the worst jobs and then die, leaving only the weakest. They don't value education, and education is a form of strength. Those that often live for longest aren't the strongest. They're the ones who were the ones who played the system for most. Or just were born the luckiest. Hello, Night Parade. Yeah, I like the Eldar. I personally prefer the Corsairs. Like, they're my favourite Eldari at the moment. Still not entirely sure what colour scheme I'm going to go for with them. Raya! I thought Raya's streaming! Oh my goodness! Hello, Raya! I thought you still had a throat infection. I didn't expect you were going to be streaming. Are you here? Gooberade, hello! Paladin Stem and TA and stuff. Welcome into the stream. I'm Cupcake Conjurer in name and profession. And I conjure cupcakes. Yeah. And today we're painting gold. Yeah. Look how shiny this skull is. Hello, Chris Oak. Raya smelled you. Hello, Elizabeth Despia, and hello, Briar. How you doing, Briar? How was your stream? How's your throat doing? We got more people today because I raided earlier to do. Oh, well, thank you for coming in. I hope you have a good time here. Remember to everyone to hydrate. Make sure you're rested and stuff, and you got good food, including you, Briar. My throat is okay, but your brain is dead. No. Make sure when you got a throat infection, you need to make sure you just give yourself a bit more time to rest it as well, because sometimes it will start feeling better before it's actually better. So don't push yourself, Briar. There you go. I was trying to do work, but my energy levels were like 10% at the time. Yeah, I can understand that. That's one of the reasons why at the start of this stream I decided to build this guy, because I find building easier than painting. So far it's like, yeah, I don't want to go straight into the painting. I want to give my brain and my eyes a chance to adjust. Good eat. Good eats, yeah. Make sure you get some good eats by it. And hello, Isaac's Art. How you doing? Welcome in. Yeah, this at the moment, we're just doing base colours at the moment. So I am going to be making mistakes. The base colours are going to look a bit meh. We're just going over all of the things. We've done for bone base colour. We've done for blue. We've done for red. We're doing for gold now. We're then going to have some green lights on it. And then we'll be going over fixing our mistakes, such as where we've gotten gold, where we've accidentally painted gold onto red, or, you know, other stuff, or we've missed some areas. And then we're going to do things like the highlighting and shading and stuff. But for now, we're just roughly throwing gold at the model. Yeah. But yeah, this is Warhammer for those that don't know. It's the Adeptus Mechanicus, and this model I'm painting is Tullio Gould, but it's heavily converted. I changed the staff into a big sword with a searchlight on it. And I changed the head into this weird bug head thing. I'll turn the light off, you can see better. Yeah. Basically, the Mechanicus are... Oh, yeah, and I also gave her loads of robotic tentacles. And the Mechanicus are a bunch of people that, you know, they worship the spirits of a machine called the Omnisire. And they, what else do they do? Well, yeah, they want to become like machines, so they replace their body parts with mechanical body parts and more and more and more. And they're not very good people, to be honest. They're infamous for creating these things called servitors, which are basically take a person, take out a part of a brain, and put in a big AI chip into there in the brain in place of it. And now you've got a human who is basically a computer. And yeah, that's what the Mechanicus is infamous for doing. Not very nice people. Oh no, Declankers. No, they don't do AI. They don't do artificial intelligence. No, in place of... So the Mechanicus doesn't like artificial intelligence. Instead, whenever they want a computer, or do you know, any sort of AI, they take a person's brain and, you know, that becomes their computer. They just modify it. They put chips into it to control the brain better. And sometimes it doesn't work. They're meant to like just remove all the emotion and ability to feel pain and stuff from the servitor. But sometimes it doesn't work very well. And you know, the servitor retains its personality a little bit too often. And it's like, please just end my suffering. Fix me. And it's like, no. Yeah, if you can see on this, it's like got this skull here. And that's called a servo skull, which basically flies about doing mechanical stuff. And there's another servo skull up here. That one's not a servo skull, that one's just an icon. Oh wait, there is some AI on this one. In Warhammer, if you see anything with that type of weird head, where it's just like a ball, that is AI. That's like a robot. Now, the ones that the Mechanicus use like that are generally they're not as intelligent. They are more on the same level that our computers are today. Like, where are they? The Adeptus Mechanicus. If we go down, we can find them. Yeah, the Castellan robots, they got these weird heads on them. Yeah, that's like them. But then you've got others, like the Leagues of Rotan, who are also humans. They're very short humans. If we look over here, you can see something else. You know, they've got the same robotic head there. Now, these ones are actually fully sentient and intelligent robots. And then you got the Tau, who really love their AI. And they use drones for everything. Like, you got all these drones and stuff running about. Those ones. That's usually got a person inside the suit, like Gundams. Was that Sigvald? Yeah, Sigvald. Sigvald. The Hedonites of Slaanesh are getting a new army book this weekend. In Age of Sigmar. And Sigvard's back. He's a full demon prince now. He still looks the same. He's just a lot bigger. Like, where is he? If we see our latest news next week. Hedonites of Slaanesh are coming back for Age of Sigmar. So this is like a fantasy style Warhammer. On this spearhead is amazing. My goodness. So many demonettes. But yeah, Sigvard, he's in for new Battle Force, which is basically for old spearhead plus this 5 twin souls and Sigvard. Explain to a casual how Warhammer is any different from Stormcraft. Warhammer came first. So, if you've heard of Warcraft and Starcraft, Warcraft originally was meant to be a video game based on the Warhammer universe. Hence why it has things like steam tanks and stuff in it. And why the orcs look very similar to, you know, 40k orcs. But eventually the deal fell through, so they took the game that they were already making and just changed it slightly to make it no longer Warhammer. And a very similar thing came with StarCraft. Now, after StarCraft released, the Games Workshop looked at the not Tyranids in there and were like, they're pretty cool, actually. We're going to make our Tyranids more like those things. So, yeah. But how is it different is... I don't know StarCraft that well, to be honest. I think it takes place on a much more grander scale, and it's got much more magic in it. Like, Warhammer is full of things like the warp and... Oh, wait, so I've missed this thing. I missed what you said in bio, sorry. Give a step-by-step guide somewhere, no reason, just asking for a friend. A step-by-step guide for what, sorry? You gotta go to sleep. Bye-bye, Briar. Oh, for painting. Yeah, there's loads of them. If you go onto the Warhammer website, they got loads of the painting things. Actually, where do they have it? If we go over here again, more build and paint, explore, build and paint. Explore the range. Citadel Colour website, here we go. Paint essentials, painting is for everyone. Subscribe now. Get the latest painting advice over here. Subscribe. But also getting started. Tutorials. Here you go. Like the easiest one to start painting would be the Space Marine paint set. And they got like a tutorial for how to use it to paint your models. You don't need steady hands, honestly. Like being a bad painter initially is part of, you know, the entire... It's part of the entire thing. Process. It's part of a process. I wanted a guide on how to make servitors. Oh! To make servitors. Oh! Well, actually, yeah, there is a guide. If you look up... the 1800s, how to do surgeries and lobotomies. There's a step-by-step guide. It was a rage bait initially, but you're doing it.
$5 for Warcraft, $5 for Starcraft. May Tool Paint Warhammer.
Oh god. Thank you. Thank you for the super soap too. Now I'll have to look up StarCraft and stuff fully. And I only know a little about StarCraft. It was a rage bait initially. Oh, I did not recognise it as a rage bait. I just thought it was a sincere question. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, the two are very similar, and they've both done that entire thing of, you know... StarCraft took a lot of inspiration from Warhammer, but then it did a bunch of its own stuff, and Warhammer, by extension, took, like, oh, their own stuff was pretty cool, let's take inspiration from them. And they like to copy each other. Help your heart like most Warhammer painters I've seen. Yay! Look, you need a pure heart to paint Warhammer, because otherwise... I mean, one, you got Bob Ross. You have to always remember what Bob Ross tells us. Yeah. And that there's no such thing as a mistake. It's just a little accident. There we go. And then once you remember that, it's very easy. No. There's a little brush in the corner of this one. There's loads of brushes. Just different size brushes. This one is for doing the greater details, but this one takes a very long time to use. Like painting any of these bigger parts will take a very long time with that smaller brush. So I'm just doing the bigger parts first. And then once I've done all of the parts that I don't need this brush for anymore, I'm going to go back over with this brush and do the smaller parts. And then I'm going to use an even tinier brush and use the tiny and paint the tiniest part. So basically all of these white lines here. Oh, look. There we go. I'm trying to do a very basic colour scheme this time. There's only 4 major colours involved. I'm trying to do as much. For this main model here, I want it to be a bit more detailed. But for the rest of them, I'm like just skipping many of the details. I'm just painting from basic. Like with this thing, I'm not going to be painting that part a separate colour from that part. I'm not going to be painting these inner parts either. Just so it's easier. I'm spending less time on the models. There we go. Did you know they're already trying to make servitors to some extent, in which they're using human brain tissue to make computers? Which seems kind of crazy. Yeah, they've apparently been using with Warhammer Future is becoming reality. Yeah, I can't remember how it was. I can't remember if it was literally taking human brain cells, but I think it might have been basically cloning brain cells. And they've already used like rat brain cells and stuff. But they've been figuring out how to make like computers and stuff in real life. Accordingly, I've not actually looked up any of these papers and research stuff, but I could just be repeating and spouting nonsense. If you could inject anyone's brain cells into your own bloodstream, who would it be? I don't think I'd want to inject anyone's brain cells into my bloodstream. I don't think that would help be good in any way of shape or form. I guess the safest one to do would be myself or a family relative. Now we just need a good god emperor. Any volunteers? Cupcake. I mean, I think I'm a bit too good to be the emperor, to be honest. I think he needs someone less capable and intelligent. Like, I think I'll be too good of a mother to be a god emperor, to be honest. Like, I mean, you need someone you need to find someone who would be a really terrible mother or father to be the god emperor. For those who don't get the joke, because you're new to Warhammer, there's something called the god emperor in Warhammer. and he created 20 sons, and he was an incredibly terrible father to all of them. And these sons were all like superhuman demigods. And by create, I mean he literally created them in a lab. Yeah, Warhammer is really... They call it grimdark for a reason. Because in the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war crimes that haven't yet been listed as war crimes. I wonder if there'll be a fictional setting. Like, if there'll ever be something that occurs in fiction that's so terrible that the people feel the need to update the Geneva Convention with that terrible thing. Just in case it actually happened. Okay, I need to do these arms next. What's this? Ivan. Right, what was I going to do then? No idea. There we go. But yeah, it's an extremely terrible father, and it created an entire heresy, and half of his sons fought against him, joining these evil chaos gods. The colours complement so well. Yay! Thank you. And I accidentally did Spider-Man colour. I wanted to do this. Oh, like on this one, you can see for bone colour. They got blue and this bone colour. And the bone colour is, I'm going to try doing like a beach sandy shade. While for blue, I'm going to do highlights to try and make it look like rolling oceans. Like temperate oceans, like tropical. That's the main thing because she comes from an ocean world. Well, the red is for the Adeptus Mechanicus normally wears red, but for Mars, because they come from Mars. So that's why there's also red. Oh yeah, this character is a woman, by the way. It's very hard to tell what she is. She is a human. I mean, she might have mandibles. She might have a weird robot body, but I mean, she might be human. Ever pitch the Drukhari to someone? How would you reel them in? So the Dark Eldar are evil pirates whose soul are being consumed by the demon god of excess. And to stop their souls being taken away from their bodies, especially when they die, go on a quest for immortality. Oh yeah, for elves. They're pirate elves who raid across the galaxy, coming out from this otherworldly dimension called the Webway that they created a long time ago. But the only way to stop their souls being devoured by this chaos god is to constantly feed on the pain and suffering of others. So they like capture people and then throw them into like colosseums, where Dark Eldar from all around the main city inside the Webway called Commonwealth will come to this colosseum to watch people fight where they would suffer and die, and that suffering will be fed on by everyone there to reinforce their souls so it doesn't get consumed by this chaos god. They do a lot more than just that though. Like they do any sort of horrible thing you can imagine that someone could possibly do to another person, they do it. Not all of them, but you've definitely got these people called homunculi, and their entire thing is like, you know, biology. They are extremely skilled biologists, and what they would do is they are very good at keeping people alive through any sort of horrible circumstance, like sewing people together, like in some sort of horror film. Basically, do not any sort of horror film as you could imagine a doctor being the main, like a surgeon being the main villain in a really weird horror film. That's what they would do. But these homunculi are actually quite important in Dark Elder society, because if you die, your soul is going to get fed up on by this chaos god and get torn apart and stuff. So, to stop themselves dying, or more importantly, protect their soul, these cabals of Dark Eldar, basically gangs within the Dark Elder city, pirate gangs, will make deals with homunculi. And this deal will basically take in a bit of their blood and a tiny piece of their soul, ripping it out of their body and keeping it safe in storage. And if they ever die, there'll be a machine that the homunculi have that will capture their soul. So basically, it will use this tiny bit of a soul that they have as a guide of the Dark Elder soul. The Dark Elder dies, their soul, rather than going into the warp where it'll be fed upon by this god, instead will get captured by the homunculi. The homunculi will then use this little bit of blood and DNA that they have of the Dark Elder to remake their body and clone it and put their soul back into it, and they'll still retain that little bit of the soul. And in exchange, the Dark Eldar bring them captives, money, anything that they need. So the Dark Eldar are basically these immortal raiding pirates who have to resort to debauchery and all sorts of horrific things to live. So yeah. The face when you're having the worst day of your life and the Dark Drukhari webway is down the street. Yeah, I think the light to sun type colour doesn't pack as much of a punch as the dim gold bronze type colour. Oh yeah, this colour it's not the final colour. So this is just me doing the base colours at the moment. So the colour here, the blue is going to change. It's going to have some darker, deeper colour to it, and then some brighter highlights. And this colour is going to be the same. It's going to get darker. And it's going to have some highlights as well, but I'm going to make it a deeper sand colour. It's also going to have some gold on it. Like, it's going to have gold on the weapon here. It's going to have gold up here. Anywhere that's basically currently white. Most of the area, like here as well, is going to be gold. So, I'm hoping it's going to work. But the main thing I'm trying to go for with the colour scheme here is blue. Blue's meant to be for ocean, that's meant to be for beach. It's meant to just give this tropical vibe, which we're far away from doing at the moment. But yeah, the Dark Eldar are... So this Chaos God that's trying to eat them, it comes from about 20,000 years ago, arguably before Vengos. You got this thing called the Warp, and the best way to think of a Warp is if you play Minecraft and you've got the Nether realm. It's basically hell. In Minecraft, if you go into the Nether and you walk 8 blocks, you'll instead walk and then come back out of the, let's say, if you walk 100 blocks and then open a new Nether portal and then come out the other side, you'd have travelled 800 blocks in the real world. That's very similar to the Warp. In which people will go into space on their spaceships, and instead of travelling faster than light, they'll open a portal into the warp, which is basically just hell, which is filled with demons, and they need to have like special force fields to stop the demons coming in. But it allows them to travel very, very... I don't mean to banana! Ah! It allows him to travel super, super far. But it's unreliable. Like, whenever you know exactly how far you're going to go. In the warp, you don't know exactly how far it is all of the time. You need special navigators to figure that out. And on top of that, time is very weird. Sometimes you might go into the warp and then come out and it's been a month. So, like, in real life for you, it might have been a month. Like, while you were in the warp, from how you view time. And in real life, when you come back out, literally only a month has passed. But other times, it will be a month for you, 20 years in real life. It might have been 20 years for you trapped inside the warp, but come back out, it's been a month. Or sometimes you come back out and it's like 5 years ago. You literally came out sooner than you actually went into it, because time is just very weird. And this Chaos God was created not that long ago, but as far as the warp is concerned, it's always been, that Chaos God has always been there. Well, the Chaos God came about after the Eldar, or these elves. They had like the perfect race and control of the galaxy for a long time, and they became very hedonistic. And as more and more of the Eldar left to their base desires, basically, they had a society of no consequence. You could shoot somebody and that person would be fine the next day, but just come back. You could jump off a cliff and crash and destroy yourself at the bottom of it, and you'd be fine a minute later. Their technology had just reached such a level that there was just no consequence. And so much of a society just started living life as if they had no consequences. But all of that stuff ended up birthing this god of excess, of lust, of gluttony, things like that. And that god, being birthed by the Eldar, now wants to eat the Eldari souls. So the Eldari souls are not safe from this Chaos God. And the Eldar is of suit a dying race. You got two types of Eldar now, predominantly. The Craft Road Eldar were basically Eldar who realised what was happening very early on, and they escaped onto these giant planet-sized spacecraft, where they lived a very monastic sort of lifestyle. So one where they just focus on honing craft. So like they go months at a time without talking, without eating, like, you know, like monks would live. Effectively trying to live a life without that sort of excess. And they're still around, and but even the Chaos God still wants their soul, so they have to create something called Spirit Stones. So when they die, their soul gets sucked into a stone, and then these stones are returned to a matrix where their souls can all coexist with one another. And every so often they'll create these robots made out of this thing called Wraith Bone, which is grown, and they'll put the Spirit Stones inside the robots, giving the life back to the souls. A sort of life, a half-life. It's very odd. Lucari in this stream put him in the room of silence, yeah. I think those colours are what helped make Gundam Peak the Wild West of space, kind of. There's 4 Chaos Gods though. You've got the Chaos God of excess, lust, and all of that stuff. But then you've got the Chaos God of Corn, which is the god of war, anger, and hate, and stuff like that. Which, as you can imagine, in 40k, with it just being eternal war, is a very powerful god. You've then got the god of Nurgle, which is the god of plague and disease. And, oh, what's the word? Rotting and decay and stuff like that. There's then finally you've got the god of Tzeentch, who is the god of change and magic and knowledge. There's then other sorts of entities out there. You've got the God Emperor, which is a man who is immortal, and ultimately he's just a very powerful psycho, but people worship him as a god, and now he's kind of become a god because the power of belief has, you know, capabilities of doing stuff. The Eldar have their own gods. One is called Cain, which is their god of war. But that's like a dead god. And they have these things called avatars of Cain, which basically have a dying shard of their god of war's life. They've also got their own god of death and stuff, and these exist. Their own god of life is Isha, who is currently captured by Nurgle and exists within his garden. And they want to get their god back. They've also got currently their most powerful god that's still alive, and that is their laughing god, the trickster god, the I can't remember what he's called, Koronag or something like that. You've stunlocked me with too much knowledge. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you got a lot of factions in Warhammer. The ones we're painting at the moment are for Mechanicus. So these people are humans, and they work with the Imperium and stuff, but they don't worship the God Emperor. Well, some of them do, but they worship what they call the Machine God, which is also known as the Omnisire. And some of them believe that the Emperor, the God Emperor, is the Omnisire. Not everyone, though. I just knocked over my magnifying glass. I think I should probably get out my smaller brush now. Every time I'm painting this model, I just keep seeing parts that I miss. Because there's just so many bits on this model, and it's so hard to reach anywhere. They've got something called sub-assembly, where you paint it before you put it together, and I don't do that. But with these models, I've definitely felt maybe I should have done. Are they best for believing? So the Omnisire does kind of exist. But it's very weird with the Mechanicus. It's very hard to tell when the Omnisire actually did anything. The Mechanicus constantly feels like they're being blessed by it, but from our point of views, like, they don't actually understand how a lot of technology really works. Like, they do things based very ritualistically. So they'll do a lot of stuff that's full of rituals, but within this ritual, they're just doing basic things like just plugging in a computer, making sure the cards are correct on it, making sure the power packs, you know, attach and all of these things, and then just pressing the power button, waiting a little bit. But it's a bit like doing when you play Pokemon. And do you know when you like try catching a Pokemon and it's like rolling around with a ball, and you've got this idea, if you just keep pressing A or B or something, it's more likely to capture it, but really it doesn't do anything. That's what the Mechanicus are basically for everything. There's just lots and lots of rituals that do absolutely nothing, but within these rituals there are stuff that does happen. Like, there's actually stuff that they're doing that's actually useful, but they can't tell anymore. Like, they don't understand technology. Most of the Mechanicus don't understand technology to such an extent now that all they've done is memorized rituals. They know the rituals work, but they don't know what parts of the rituals are actually working. And they use those rituals to make technology work, to try and fix technology. And when it does work, they often think it's the Omnisire doing something, but really, no, it's just they just turned a machine on and off again. That's what happened. Now, they do understand some technology to some extent, and people like this character here, they're going to actually understand the technology on a more intrinsic level than others. Because she's a fabricator general. She knows how things actually work and why it works. Or at least better than other members of the Mechanicus. That's why she managed to do so well. Although some of it is political. But yeah. So most of these mechanical things that they do to themselves, it's more just ritual than anything else. Computer, it's more like Digimon then. This thing is a virus. Yeah, but I just use Pokemon as a example in the fact of, do you know how people have their own rituals? Like, you're waiting for a loading screen. If you twist the joystick around while waiting for a loading screen, the loading screen might go faster. Really, it doesn't do anything, but people do it anyway because they feel like maybe it does work. It's the same kind of thing, do, where some people, when they watch sports games or whatever, they'll like change their outfit. Like they wear their lucky shirt. They think if they wear the lucky shirt, it will make their team do better. In reality, it doesn't. If they do it anyway. That's all the Mechanicus does anymore. They're just doing things like wearing the lucky shirt. Doing things in a very specific way that maybe it was listed in some book. Now, there is argument that there's some blessings going on. We know that the God Emperor actually does a lot of stuff. There's a lot of evidence that suggests he does things like, you've got little angels coming down from heaven, uttering the God Emperor's name and offering blessings to people and fighting demons. But the Omnissiah doesn't really do stuff like that. But there have been like certain times when vehicles will just suddenly start miraculously working and there's no reason they should be able to. Like wires have been severed, fuel lines have been broken, yet somehow it's managed to work anyway. Could that be for Omnissiah's working? Or is there something else going on and we just don't know enough to understand it? Hi, Sparky. Bandai Namco actually put a trademark on games showing the loading screen, unironically. The company that produced Digimon games. Yeah. That sucks. I wish we had more games and stuff. Now, unfortunately, we're in the era where loading screens don't occur too much anymore. So there's not much point putting games in the loading screens. And so many companies and like game producers have figured out other ways to do good stuff like that we don't need it anymore. Like, do you know, hiding? Oh, I'm not evil! No! No! Why would you think I'm evil? You think... Like, that's my chair making weird noises, me leaning back and forth there. Because I'm not evil. Just because I've got devil horns and fire eyes and I can fly doesn't mean I'm evil. I think that's just generalizing. You're generalizing. You're neglecting your space means, hey, I can't become a dragon. I can become a worm. I can't become a dragon. I can become a cat. No, I can't. I don't become cats. I mean, if you watch my lore video, you can see Cuptle be a kaiju. And my lore video is in the description. Yeah. Actually, no, my lore video is not in the description anymore. That's my debut highlights video. your Presto from the Warcraft universe. Anyway, what do you mean I'm neglecting my Space Marines? People are like, you need to stop painting Space Marines, and now I'm not painting Space Marines. So like, you need to be painting your Space Marines. You're neglecting them. Can't win. There we go. Every like on this stream is a prayer to the Omnisire, so my internet doesn't fail me. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah. Gold. Isn't there a song that goes gold? Do 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 do. It's gold. Na 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 na. I need to turn my air conditioner on. Aren't Marines simple? This seems like an important unit or hero. Yeah, Marines. So this is a Space Marine. And this is a hero Space Marine. This is a Marshal. Well, actually, it's a converted Marshal. That green is just green stuff. A modeling putty. So, yeah, this is a Space Marine. This is a Mechanicus Fabricator General. Archmagos. This is a Skitari Hastari. This is a Chaos Sorcerer. Of Siege. The god of change and knowledge. And his favourite spell is Gun. Pew pew. For chaos, for chaos. You know.
For chaos.
What do the Chaos Gods want you to do? I know what we need to do. Where are they? Where are they? They are good. I got dice! I got dice of Siege. Chaos dice. What do they want you to do? What does the God of Change want you to do? We'll do some scrying with dice. I like these dice. They're super colourful. 4 6s. This is a 6 symbol on the dice. Oops. 5 5 5. 1 4. 2 4s. Then 3 3s. 2 2s and 2 1s. I think if I just change this a little, if I just work with this a little bit, what could the God of Change be telling you to do? Maybe to like this. Oh, does that say like the stream? Or like it's telling you. It's telling you. Oh, it's telling you to like. That's what the God of Change wants you to do. Oh, there we go. So, also, look how cool these dice are. Look at that. They're so... It looks like... It reminds me of two of those blue and pink sweets you can get, like, the raspberry flavoured. I just want to eat them. I just want to chew them. They're like the chewiest looking dice ever. It wants us. No, don't unsubscribe. No, the God of Change would never want you to unsubscribe. There we go. There we go. Do. I don't want the Kargan's skull to be gold. I want them to be white and red. We are gold. There we go. So, yeah, this model's taken me way longer to paint than I expected it would. My goodness. I mean, I did keep taking breaks to talk, I guess. My goodness, I thought I'd have, like, gotten through most of it. I mean, I have gotten through most of it. I thought I'd be, like, finishing this one today and getting onto the other ones just for the gold. With painting the base colour, I generally think takes the longest time to get it fully done. Once the base colour's done, all it is then is just the... This is why, if you're starting Warhammer, I do not advise you start with the Mechanicus. They're very difficult paint jobs to do. Space Marines are probably the easiest to start with. Tower pretty nice to start with too. But Arcs aren't the worst. We got lots of bits and pieces on them, so if you don't have like too much OCD about it, you can easily just paint it very simply. But not like this, where there's just lots of fiddly bits on the model that are just so hard to reach. Like trying to get under this piece here, but there's loads of wires in the way. Start with Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns, they're not the worst actually. I mean, most of it's just flat surfaces. It's not like you're painting the trim on Legionnaires on them. It's like, sure, there's like in the official colour schemes there's some weird patterns and stuff to paint on them, but you don't need to paint those patterns. And they'll still feel Thousand Sunny without it. So yeah, Thousand Suns are probably the easiest of the Chaos Space Marines to paint. After that is probably Nurgle. Then Khorne, just because you don't need to worry as much about highlighting. And Trim with Khorne. So for World Eaters. Emperor's Children also shouldn't be too bad. Actually, Emperor's Children are probably similar to Thousand Suns in terms of difficulty. Although pink is a hard colour to work with compared to blue. Pathogen with Versi, I don't think they're too bad simply because the modes are so old that they're easier to paint. Because, you know, they're very... Conversely, Cadians are... they've also got not as much skin, but their faces are a lot harder to paint than... Especially with their helmets on. And do you know Catachan faces? Skin generally is not the hardest thing to do. It's not the easiest, but it's definitely got a learning curve. Night Lords, if you want to do the official scheme, are probably one of the hardest because of all the lightning on them. Okay, I think that's pretty much all of the big parts done now, most of it. If I need to switch my brush around. Maybe we'll get new models this edition, potentially. Although it might be Steel Legion. I'll be getting the new models. So, hard to know. We might get, I think they'll at least get a new kill team, to be honest. We are gold. Like, just trying to paint into all of these areas is just super difficult, if I'm honest. Like, trying to reach back here, it's a very clear place I can see, but my brush does not want to go just in these gaps and at weird angles. It requires advanced painting techniques, which is to paint it before you put it together, which is annoying and difficult and not fun. I don't think Steel Legion will get any. You can paint Krieg like Steel Legion. They've already showed us the concept art for them, and the concept art was started in what, 2023 or was it 2024? So there's a good chance we are getting new Steel Legion. Oh gosh, this is pretty cool though. I'm liking how it's coming together, honestly. I can see the process working. Bit by bit. Trust the process. Trusting the process is probably one of the hardest parts of painting. Because you will often get, like painting, especially if you're like me, just making lots of mistakes, sometimes you'll paint and it starts looking worse before it starts looking better. You just have to trust the process. Yeah, I should have changed to my thinner brush now. But at this point, I don't think there's... Okay, just making sure this brush is nice and clean. Dry it. I think it's now time to switch to the smaller brush. But it's getting to 7 o'clock now. So let's check the website. Anything new? Anything new? No, nothing new. Nothing. Guys, have you seen the squig sharks? The orcs have these things called squigs. If we look down here, just in here, squigs. You can barely see them. Video, open it up. There we go. Squig Shark! Yeah!
Okay. Come on. You know, you built space.
Oh, we made Squig Sharks for our diorama. So squigs are like orc. So orcs are basically fungus monsters. But orcs have these things called squiggly beasts. Literally, they were called squiggly beasts. New art, like here, that's a squiggly beast. A squiggly beast. And they ride them around. The squig hog boys. They have bomb squigs and oil squigs, and the Rucker Truck squig buggy, which fires these tiny little squigs at people. They're basically like orcs, but they're red skinned instead of green skinned, and they're basically like the animal version of orcs. So they're used for like as horses, as pack animals, as food. Some of them are used for oil and paints and stuff like that. We've even got things called hair squigs. Can we find a hair squig over here? Do any of these guys have hair? Yeah, he's got a mohawk. Orcs aren't capable of growing hair themselves. So if you ever see an orc with hair, it's usually because there's a squig that bit his head, and the squig has hair. It's like a parasitic creature. Okay, no, there's no hair squigs here. Where are the new models in the Armageddon bot? Oh, there he is. Yeah, look, you can just see some like little black teeth here. With a squig biting into his skull. Oh yeah, we got targeting squigs, like, you know, this one here. Where it's got like a cool target, much cool. I could not paint that on its eye. Yeah, that squig helps them target stuff. Actually, we go up. This should be the Armageddon. Yeah, here we go. Armageddon bot. Scroll down. This dude. That dude's got the hair squig. You can see it easier here with the teeth and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, they made squig sharks. Squigs are cool. You can get plushy squigs. But here's how far we've gotten so far with this model. I tried to finish off the gold on this model off stream then. And then we can move on to these guys. Tomorrow what are we doing tomorrow? I think we're playing Mechanicus 2 tomorrow. That is what we're doing, right? Oops, that's the wrong button. Oh gosh, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah, Mechanicus 2, we're playing that, and it's going to be a morning stream. So for me, it's at 11, so that's in... it's 7 right now, so that's in 16 hours. Oh, 16 hours, you got to stream Mechanicus 2. Yeah! A hair squig was a major plot point from the 2D platform game. Yeah, blood and shooters, something like that. Blood, teeth and shooters. So that's a cool thing going on. But let me check. Is there anyone we know who's live right now? Because there's a lot of people here, and feels rude not to rate. Oh, you got Penumbral. He's playing Rifle Factory. Kohaku. How long have either of these people been streaming? Okay, yeah, we'll raid somebody. So anyway, right, let's do a cupcake raid. It's been a while since we've done a cupcake raid. Those of you from Brian might want to do a Dreamer raid. Oh wait, am I getting an advert playing? No, okay, that's good. Cupcake raid. Yeah, there we go. Copy and paste that. We'll go into the... No, I don't want to end stream. I want to go into stream settings, edit, customization. Who do we want to raid? Add redirect. Can I go DM? We'll raid Penumbral. He's a fun dude. He does the 60-second news. YouTubing news in 60 seconds. But big love farts to you all. Have a good rest of your day. Remember to work hard but play harder. Eat good food. Sleep well. Dream of cupcakes but don't eat for cupcakes as a friends and not food. And also, take care of yourselves. Be kind to others. And vice versa. Yeah. Goodbye. Big hearts. And don't forget to do the rage smash. Wait, that's the wrong one. There we go. Smash! Love you all! And don't forget to like. And give Penumbra lots of love.